If they are not calling you now, it's because you have nothing to offer. It's not a devil against you. The gift God gives you becomes a responsibility. You become a steward. A gift without character is a proud person going to kill themselves. Until you get over your ego, you won't become your best. Genesis chapter 1. We want to finish that story. We all read chapter 1 perfectly, correct? We took time. You understand it. Let's review chapter 1 very quickly. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void. Darkness covered the face of deep. The Spirit of God moved. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, it was good. And God separated the light from the darkness, and the darkness He called night, and the light He called day. And God said it was very good. In the evening manifested. On the second day, God said, let the firmament be in the heavens, separating the waters under the firmament from waters above the firmament. And it was so, and God divided the waters, blah, 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 blah. And the evening, and God saw it was very good, and the evening and the morning of the second day. And God said, let the waters, the earth be separated from the waters, and let it form dry ground. And God separated the waters, and the dry ground, the earth became, the dry ground He called earth, and the waters He called seas. And the evening and the morning of the third day. And God said, let there be light. No. And God said, let the earth bring forth herb yielding seed, and fruit tree yielding the fruit whose seed in itself after his kind. And God did that, and God saw it was very good, and it brought forth abundantly. And He said, be fruitful, multiply. And it was so. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament to give lights over the earth, and let them be for days and for years and for times and for seasons. And God did that. And He made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God saw it was very good. And God said, let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creatures, everything, who has seed in itself after his kind. And God saw it was good. And the evening and the morning, birds and fish, day 5, day 6. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures, animals. And God saw it was good. And God said, let us make man. And the evening and the morning was the 6th day. And God said, it's not good for man to be alone. No, that's in chapter 2. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Let him have dominion. Let them have dominion. And He made them male and female, and He blessed them. And He says, I have given you all things. And God ended His work, and God rested from all the works which He had made on the day 6, the evening and the morning of day 6. And the heavens and the earth were finished, and the host of them, and God rested from the works which He had made. He ended His work, and God blessed that day, the 7th day, and sanctified it, because He rested from all His works. So that's basically day 1 to day 6 and 7. Quickly, what do you see from there with regards to creation? Because we are saying, one thing I think you got out of last week is you create money, you create things, and we want to see how that applies to us. We're not looking at creation story because we want to preach a sermon, because we want to teach you how to create wealth. How does it work in practical terms? That's why we are in chapter 1 and 2. What's the meaning of resourcefulness and resource? Start with resource and resourcefulness. Do not tell me I can't make it because I don't have money, I don't have a sponsor. That's a lazy person. That's a person that will not achieve anything. Who has resource? The meaning of the word resource. We can't be slow, we can't be slow, we can't be slow. We have to think very fast. The speed of your thinking is important. Practice it. Nobody was born at the speed of light. No, on this side. Resource, on this side, resourcefulness. Get ready for me. On this side, resource. Where is resource? Give me definition. Come on. Yes?
A resource is a source of supply from which a benefit is produced.
So God, therefore, is your biggest resource. A resource is a source of supply. Read it again.
A resource is a source of supply from which a benefit is produced.
From which a benefit is produced. So you use a resource to produce a benefit. Go on, complete it.
For which it has some utility.
For which has some utility. You know what utility means, isn't it? When you say something has utility, you've heard of marginal utility, satisfaction, use. Something that you can use and give satisfaction, and that can drop. Okay? So, from which, what? Benefit from which there is utility. Go on.
Yes. Resources can be broadly classified according to availability.
So, resources can be classified according to availability. Go on.
They are classified into renewable and non-renewable.
Okay. So you have human resource, you have natural resource, those are resource, financial resource, intellectual, those are resources. Do you understand? Something from which benefits can be produced that has utility. Any other interpretation from a different yes?
Oxford says a new or reserve supply that can be drawn upon when needed.
A new or reserve supply that can be drawn upon when needed. That's the Oxford definition. So it is something you use when you need to achieve your goal. Somebody else, resource. Yes?
A source of supply, support, or aid, especially one that can be readily drawn upon.
Okay, a source of supply or aid that can be readily drawn upon. Again, it's telling you it's something I can go to when I need it. Okay, resource. And God put all the resources in the earth. Now look at resourcefulness. Resourcefulness, yes?
The ability.
Go.
Quick and clever ways to overcome.
Notice the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties. The ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome. So I have 10 kwacha. Does that stop me from being a billionaire? So it's not the resource, is what? My ability to use what I have to achieve things. Another meaning, resource, yes? Resourcefulness.
The quality of being able to cope with the difficult situation.
The quality of being able to cope with, and the earth was empty without form. Darkness covered the face of the deep. Did he call an auntie? Did he call an uncle? Did he look for help from who? What was he being when he was doing this? He was being resourceful. You can have all the money in the world and you don't know how to use it cleverly, you will not be anything. Within this space here, Jesus said we can feed 5,000 and 2 fish. With 5 loaves and 2 fish, isn't it?
Yes.
What did he have? He knew that's a resource. He knew 12 resource. He knew his ability resource. How did he feed 5,000? Resourcefulness. Resourcefulness. You have all you need to prosper. You just need to know how to use it. Write that down. Right? That's a good place to write. I have all I need to prosper. I just need to, number one, recognize it, what my resources are, and number two, know how to use it, deploy it to create competitive advantage for me. How do I use my resources? So you must have what we call a resource-based view. You must have a resource-based view of your life. Jesus looked and did an RBV analysis of himself. And he says, I have resources. I have God. I have me. I have trained. That's why they are disciples. Trained disciples. I have organization planning. I have a network. So his disciples led him to their network. Why are they leading him to their network? Why would Andrew bring the boy with 5 loaves and 2 fish? Because he trusts Jesus. If he never trusted him, he will never allow him into his network. So the solution to everything this group will ever need is within this group. But the question is, will you deploy those resources? Will you use it? People sitting at home saying they are broke, they are lazy. It's not that they are broke. They will not use their mind. They will not think. Now, who created everything? God did. Now, why is there no plants? Why is there no herbs? Why? You cannot complete verse 5. It says why? Because there's what? Why do you think that is? We talked about it 3-4 days ago. Why is it that? Why didn't God grow it? Why didn't God do it? Genesis 1:26. Why didn't God do it? Yeah? Read it. Yes. Somebody on this side, open Psalm 115. Yes. God said, let us make man in our image. So God said they should rule where? Let them have dominion on the earth. So who is the earth for? Has God created it? Yes. But can God do it on the earth? Because God's word limits him from bringing anything on the earth without. He gave man dominion. Psalm 115:16. Psalm 115:16. Are you with me?
The highest.
Go on.
The highest heavens belong to the Lord.
The heavens, even the heavens of the heavens belong to the Lord.
But the earth he has given to man.
So the earth belongs to who? To man. So can God therefore do anything on the earth without a human being? So he says, God has created it, but it cannot manifest on the earth because there's no man to what? So God has given man dominion on the earth. Did you see that? The heavens belong to God. The earth he has given to who? Therefore, can God name anything on the earth? Can God bring out anything on the earth? Why? He says, let man have dominion on the earth. Let him rule and reign on the earth. So God does not interfere on the earth without permission from a human being. So what is prayer? Giving God permission to come into your space. Authorizing God to come into your space. That's why he said, let your will be done. He's already finished his will. Without permission, he can't. So what is life? Life is a partnership with God. We're co-workers with him. And that's important. In verse 5, we'll come there. So, has God created the heavens? Has God created the earth? What's the problem? It's not on the earth, isn't it? So how many times do you see void now? Twice. One in the spirit and one in the physical. But guess what? The one in the physical is subject to change because there's creation in the spiritual. If there was no creation in the spiritual, there will be no creation in the physical because there's nothing holding it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if God hadn't made it in verse chapter 1 verse 11 to 13, you can't have it in chapter 2 verse 5, 6, 7, 8. Does that make sense? Good. Number 2, what does it bring about? So now God has the earth is void now, empty. So what must God do? What must God do?
Someone to manage.
God has to bring somebody to manage it. Who is he going to bring to manage it? Go back to Genesis 1:26. Let us make man to have. So God is now good. So why is man on the earth now? Because God has created man in the spirit for the earth. Does that make sense? So what is the earth to man? What is the earth to man? Man's assignment. So what does it bring about? Purpose. This is why we are going to study purpose. Because if you don't understand purpose, you don't understand why you are here. So did God just say, let's have children? Man and woman. Why did God make man and woman? In fact, let's not come to woman yet. Why did God make man? Because he had made chairs, he had made the internet, he had made 4G, he had made 5G, he had made 12G. You know, there's 12G, you just haven't got there yet. If they told you that one day you won't have telephone without you ring, then you try and make your hand go, make it go faster back because it's too slow. If they told you, you will be Siri, hi Siri, call Ellen. If they told you that, what will you say to them? It's heavy witchcraft. They said they are calling your name in a mirror. They're going to kill you. If they told you that you would have a plane where you have a bath in the sky and there will be a chef tossing food in the sky, what would you say to them? That's not aircraft, that's witchcraft. So what does God expect you to do every day? Godcraft. So what is prayer? God crafting. You are co-workers with God, isn't it? Craft is to create something, isn't it? To craft something. But you are doing it through. So Godcraft is to bring about God's plan, God's will, and all that. That's if you want to talk at that kind of language level. But don't ignore it, that's who you are. Okay? Now, let's imagine this. Let's imagine this. Let's imagine what we are saying is true. That God created man to have dominion over the work of his hand, over the air, so we are in the moon, over the seas, so we are deep down in submarines under. Don't you think it's witchcraft for somebody to create a submarine and stay for years under the water? You don't die. Where did that idea come from? From the source. So when can you say there's a limit on the earth? When human beings cannot interface. Once you are disconnected from your source, that's where there's scarcity. As long as I can connect to that source, there's always creativity and abundance. So when you understand that technology, you are never stranded. What do you say? Like Daniel, O king, be not hasty, give me time. Go to Daniel chapter 2, let's read it. So School of Wealth has its spiritual foundation. That's what I'm establishing for you. That's what I need you to see. So spirituality to you is not Sunday going to church. No, it's not trying to solve a problem. No, as in fire brigade, I'm going to die now. No, it's going to meet with God on a daily basis. Say, God, what have you created that I don't know? There are things things I need to know now. So you are having that discussion with God, you are having time with God, you are actually running into your time with God because you know, I have an appointment. This is my creativity session. This is my production session. I need to download. I need to update. Some things happened overnight I don't know about. I need to touch base with the cloud. So, where did I say she open? 2. Read from verse 1. Have to read very fast. Who's reading fast?
And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamt dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled and his sleep broke from him.
Go on. We're reading up to 22.
And the king commanded to call the magicians.
I want you to follow it. He's calling who?
The magicians. And the astrologers. And the sorcerers.
Yep.
And the Chaldeans.
The Chaldeans, those are people that work with the stars and all those people, yes.
But to show the king his dreams. So
who did they call when he didn't know what to do on the physical earth? Who did they call? People that deal with the spirit. Go on.
So they came and stood before the king. And the king said unto them, I have dreamt a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king.
Tell us your dream, we will tell you the solution.
Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syria, O king, live forever. Tell thy servants the dream, and we will shew the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, the thing is gone from me, and if ye will not make known unto me the dream, with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces.
What does that tell you? When the life challenges hit, and you don't know how to connect with the spiritual, with your source, death comes. So that's when we die. Why? There's nobody that can consult. There's nobody to get inspiration. Don't look at it from a negative perspective. I want you to see that the solutions to things in the physical come from where? The unseen. Go on.
And your houses shall be made a dunghill. And if ye shew the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive me gifts.
That's such a principle, meaning that when you are the one that can connect to the spirit and get the answer, you're always higher than everybody else. Did you know Joseph? When he could get the answer, what happened? He became the highest. The one that can relate with the spirit and get solutions for mankind, that person always is the head, is the richest. They are the commanders of innovation. They are the ones that bring the new trends and the new fashion and the new models and the new this and that. They spend their time creating. So there's solution, there is answers, there is the future already. So you understand, 4th dimension. There's no time and space in the 4th dimension. So you are contacting it to bring it to the 3rd dimension. That is what we do. That's what Christianity is teaching you to. Watch people that you say are producing nothing, are struggling, are suffering. There are people that don't understand spirituality. Number 2, they only do it once in a while. They're not consistent. You want to see a creative person? Show me a person that's consistently in the spirit. Spends certain amount of time with God every day. Not for food, for relationship, to hear God's mind. Such people will lead the nation, will produce, will prosper. Such people. Where are we? Daniel, go continue reading. Yes. Yes.
But ye shew the dream and the interpretation thereof. Ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor.
I want you to see what magicians said, what ngangas of the day, what they said. Go on.
Therefore shew me the dream and the interpretation thereof. In 7, they answered again and said, let the king tell his servants the dream.
He said, maybe you didn't hear us the first time.
And we will show the interpretation of it. The king answered and said,
You're wasting my time.
I know of certainty that ye will gain the time, because ye see the thing.
When people don't know a thing, what do? They keep talking. Trying to confuse you, exactly. Go on.
9. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream,
to the thing, the spirit for that thing to happen won't come to pass. So what do you do to your life every day? Speak to it and speak into it. What do you do to your body? Speak to your body. What do you do to your mind? Speak to your mind. What do you do to money? Speak to it. Calling those things that be not as though they are. And don't forget, Proverbs, Psalm 19:14. This is your problem. Psalm 19:14, what does it say quickly? And the Spirit entered me when he spoke to me, and he caused me to rise upon my feet. So the same one say, rise upon your feet and I'll speak to you. And then the Spirit entered me, and the Spirit that entered me caused me to rise upon my feet. So when I speak, that Spirit goes to make it happen. Your assignment is speak it. Where are you? Proverbs 19:14. It says what? Let the words of my mouth and the what? Meditation of my heart. So where do words come from? From what you are thinking in your heart. Meditation of my heart. So the words give expression to your thinking. So if you think nonsense, you will talk nonsense. If you think poverty, you will birth poverty. It's a spirit you release to create your future. So you can't talk anyhow. You can't say, I feel it. Shut that feeling down and tell the feeling, I'm the one in control, not you. The feeling is your body. You are the spirit. Tell the spirit, the body, shut up. Tell that body, shut up. I'm the one in charge here.
Yes.
I say we are not eating, we are not eating. That's it. Don't tell me I feel hungry. Feel what hungry? I'm fasting today. That's it. Tell the body, that's it, finish. Say, I don't feel like. What is it you don't feel like? Who are you to tell me what we feel like? We are praying this night, finish. It's not whether you feel it or not. I've decreed it. We are praying this night. Then the body fights you. You say, can you see the cold? And it makes you feel it very well. Then you feel the difference between the duvet, under the duvet, and above the duvet. And the body says, can you feel it? At that time, what do? The body binds you. Instead of you to bind that body and say, I'm the boss here. I say we stand up. The body say, try me. Then you tell that body, I will slap you. Get out of bed now. And you know how you want to get that done? Keep repeating it in your head. I'm standing up. I'm standing up. I'm standing up. You won't say it 10 times you're up. But if the body talks to you and say, very nice, 30 minutes more. In the morning you'll say, yeah, I wanted to pray today. You can't keep saying something and not do it. It's not possible. Where are you in your Bible? Psalm what? 19:14. So what are your words? The expressions of your heart. You see that in Matthew chapter 12. Jesus says, out of the abundance of the heart. Open there. Let's look at it from verse 38. Quick. Matthew 12. You've read 37, you've read 38. 36, 37 you've read today. So look at 38 to 40. Matthew 12. Read, yes?
Then Satan of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would...
Matthew 12, 38.
Yes. Then Satan of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. But he answered and said unto them,
Go up to 34, 33, 34.
33. Either make a tree good,
Make a tree good, or the fruit good, or make it corrupt,
and his
fruit corrupt. Go on next.
For the tree is not
Known by its fruit.
all generation of vipers. How can ye, being evil, speak good things?
How can you be evil? How can your heart be one side and you speak something? It can't work. How can you be evil and speak good things? A tree is known by what? His fruit. What's it talking about? Tree. Tree of life, tree of knowledge of good and evil. A tree is known by the fruit, and we've established today the fruit is what? Words, isn't it? So a tree is known by the fruits. Go on. How can you be evil, speak good things? So he's explaining a tree is known by the fruit. You can't be evil and speak good things. You can't be good and speak evil things. For out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth. So what is your mouth always doing? Giving expression to your heart. So if you listen to people enough and you don't talk too much, you will know what's in their heart. For out of the abundance. And that's why for me, I listen to people. I hear what they are saying. Then you see them trying to rationalize and explain. If you understand this, believe me, I always tell people that if you understand the things I'm teaching about and you put it to practice, it will change your life. It will change lives around you. It's as simple as that. So you want to take it seriously. Look at what God says about his word. Isaiah chapter 55. So shall my word be, verse 10. So shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It will not return to me void. So words don't return. Because they are spirit, words are an assignment. So when you say, I am rich, when you say money comes to me, when you say I call it, I command it, I have it, it's an assignment. It's going to make it happen. It brings it about. If witches can do it, you are stronger than them, you are better than them. Open your mouth and talk. It's not witchcraft, it's creation. It's spirituality. And you release the word like a farmer. Do you see how a farmer plants? Does he go back and check it? He has released the seed. It will bring the harvest. The words that I speak will not return to me what? Void. That means when you speak words, they don't go and come back empty. So there's no I'm joking. There's no idle word. Jesus says every idle word will bring a report, a result. So you can't talk anyhow to your husband or talk anyhow to your wife. You say, you madman. Then he manifests. Then you say, then you say, who called him mad? Now he's behaving what you said. You are now saying, no, I don't like it. One of the worst one I see women do is very foolish. They say, beat me, beat me, beat me. Have you seen them say that before? They now look at the man and they say, beat me, beat me, beat me. Then he beats you. Then you report, he beats me. Who said beat me? Didn't you tell him beat me? And the spirit entered him when you spoke to him and he caused him to beat you. Then you say, he beat me. It didn't return void at all. It can't return void. Then you say, I'm broke. And the spirit enters your business and closes down every customer. Who created it? You did. Cannot return to you void. That's why Jesus says, how can you have sweet and bitter water from the same mouth? How can you do that? James chapter 3. James chapter 3. Start from verse 1. In many things we offend, but the one that will not offend in words, the same is a mature Christian, is a perfect Christian. Are you there? Read it from verse 1.
My brethren, be not any masters, knowing that we shall receive the greater condemnation. Many things we offend.
For in many things we offend.
If any man offend not in word.
So when you don't offend, you don't trip. Offense means to trip. Stone of tumbling. If you don't fail, if you don't trip in your words, and for you not to trip in your words means you control your emotions, your feelings. You don't let your emotions provoke you. You don't work by your feelings. You work by your intentions. You're in control. If you let your feelings control your mouth, you will see what it does. It burns the whole. It says it causes fire on the course of nature. Read. So if you don't offend in words, the same is a what?
Perfect man.
Perfect there means mature. Go on.
And able also to bridle their whole.
Therefore, if you're able to control your tongue, you are able to control your behavior. So your behavior follows what? Your speech, your mouth. And what controls your mouth? Psalm 19:14. What? Your heart. Your heart controls your mouth, and your mouth controls what? Your behavior. Now, when you are not spiritual, you are weak spiritually, your feelings control your mouth and also controls your behavior. Have you seen when you're angry with somebody, then you say, when the person comes, I won't talk to him? Women do that a lot, isn't it? I won't talk. Now, you were very happy before the person came. But once you saw the person, you acted as you said you will do because you wanted to communicate a thing to that person. What happened to your mood? Immediately you started doing that. Your mood changes. What happens to the whole house? How easy is it to come out of that mood now? You can't. Sometimes it takes a week. But you did it. You did it. You said, when this person comes, I won't smile. So the person looks at you, you don't smile. And you often forget, women are guilty of this, you often forget that when you don't smile, that person too is a human being. So that person says, okay, you want to do that, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's see who will finish this game. So you now go quiet. What happens to that person? What you sow, you reap. You now go cold. What happens to that person? Now it is cold. You now want the person to hold you for what? Then the foolishness now starts happening. You see, he doesn't love me. Who started it? You started it. You were throwing your tantrums, throwing your toys, trying to show that yes. Now who is complaining? And you know the worst part? He now starts smiling with other people, and you are there now that started it. And the silly thing is this, for you to come out of your pride, it's so hard to come out of pride. Then what do? You start looking for quarrels. Because when you look for that quarrel, so you can explain who is right or wrong, so you can come out of it, so you must quarrel. You are looking for a fight. So you can now come out and say it was your fault, you are wrong. Then you do that and you mess up your lives. Where did it start from? Mouth, coming from here, and you wonder, why did you go through all that? You see how people punish themselves? That's why I tell people, stop playing mind games. Mind games mess you up. You start calculating, you do 1, I'll do 5. You do 2, I'll do 4. When you say this, I'll say this. Are you serious? And you want to be happy? How? Can't happen. I know sometimes it takes people a lifetime and they never learn that lesson. They keep repeating the same things. I tell people, marriage is not bad. It's the people in marriage that are bad. Marriage is very good. It's the people in marriage that are bad. There's nothing wrong with marriage. There's something wrong with the people in it. They are too proud. They are stubborn people. James 3:3. Go on.
You put bits in the horse's mouth.
Notice that. You put a bit. So take a bit. You put bit in a horse's mouth. You remember? So what controls the horse? What you put on the horse's mouth. You use it to turn the bit. So what is God saying? The word of God should be a bit on your mouth. So you take the word of God and put it on top of your tongue. Not your feelings. But you let that bit control. Do you understand? Go on. You put a bit in a horse's mouth and it can go through fire. It can do anything. A horse is an animal for war. Go on.
That thing may obey us. And we tell about.
So, what does that tell you? When you put words on top of your tongue, it causes you, your body, to obey you. Did you see that? Good. Go on.
Behold also the ships,
The ship,
which though they be
as great as it is,
and are driven of fierce winds,
so it goes through all manner of winds and waves and all that. But it is controlled by what? A tiny rudder. Just something down there in the water. They turn it this way, it turns. They turn it that way, it turns. Regardless, go on, what does it say there?
ends are they turned about with a very small helm.
So regardless of the wind, the storm, With this tongue, you turn it and maneuver through the storms of life. Go on.
Whosoever the governor listed.
So who are you? You are the governor. You are not the sheep. You are not the sheep. You are not the rudder. You are not the tongue. You are not the sheep. You are who? You are the governor. So you control the sheep with what? Controlling the tongue. You control the horse by controlling what? Put the bit in the mouth. Ask, who is stronger, the rider or the horse? But who is in control? The rider, because he knows how to control the horse. Go on.
Even so, the tongue.
So those two things are describing what? The tongue. Even so, the tongue. Don't forget, you are the rider. Don't forget, you are the governor, isn't it? So even so, the tongue
It's a little member.
is a what? Little member boasting of what? Great things. So as small as the tongue is coming from your heart, it boasts of how many things? Great things. Go on.
Great things. Behold, how great a matter.
How great a matter. A little.
Matter.
A little what?
A little fire.
Fire. You see how small. Fire that burns a house down. How is it? One small spark. Just the tiniest of spark. What does that tongue do? Look at what it says. A little fire kindled. Doing what next?
And the tongue is a fire. A word of iniquity.
Doing what?
So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature.
So what does the tongue do? It corrects nature. It sets on fire the course. So the tongue can control the course of nature. So there's the natural. The tongue controls the natural. Setting on fire the what? The course of nature. The way nature goes. So you, with the tongue, you can control what? Nature. What is physics? The study of nature. So with the tongue, you control nature. So it means the tongue is above nature, because you used to control. So the tongue expresses the spiritual, and the natural is at the command of the tongue. Is that making sense? The tongue is a little fire, kindling great fire and setting on fire the course of nature. Go on.
And it is set on fire of hell. For every kind of beast, and of birds, and of serpents, and of things in the sea is tamed, and have been tamed of mankind.
Now, what do you use to tame animals and all? Their mouth. Their mouth. Food. And all those. You want to get a big elephant. Look at them in the circus. Lion. They control them, putting food in their mouth. Isn't it? They starve them. Then when they are broken by starvation, they use food, their mouth, to control them. Good. Is that making any sense? So what are you meant to be doing? Are you the governor? Yes. Are you the sheep? Are you the tongue? So who are you? That means I know the tool I have. If we can set on fire the course of nature, can he plant? He says, see, I have put my word in your mouth. I've touched your tongue. And I've put my word in your mouth. Putting the bit in your mouth. To do what? To root out. To pull down. Write it down. Jeremiah 1, 9 and 10. It says, and the Lord put forth his hand and touched my tongue. And said, see, I've put my word in your mouth. And I've set you. That's why it says, sets on fire the course of nature. You are the one in charge. When he touched his tongue, it says, I've set you above, over the nations and over the kingdom. With your tongue, you root out, you pull down, you throw down, you cast down. Then it says, to build and to plant. So when I open my mouth and I'm speaking, I'm planting my future. It will grow. Chapter 4 of Mark, it says, so shall the is the kingdom as a person that goes forth and plants seed, and he sleeps night and day. He doesn't know how it springs forth. First the blade, then the ear, then the full corn, then the harvest. So when you start speaking, you're programming your future. That's spiritual. That's spiritual. So every creation, physical, is released by words. So every day, you start speaking. You wake up in the morning, you say not what you feel, you say what you want. That means you must know what you want. It must be very clear what you want. And then you start speaking it. Like a farmer speaks and expects the harvest, you start speaking it, expecting it. Whosoever shall say, Mark 11:23. It says, have faith in God, believe what I'm telling you. Then whosoever shall speak, shall say to the mountain, be thou cast, be thou removed into the sea, and will not doubt in his heart, but shall believe that those things which he says will come to pass, they shall have. So anything you say with belief, you will have it. Anything you say without doubting, you will have it. It's a law. It's God's law of creation. It governs the universe. You shall have what you say. So if you understand it's a law, like you understand the law of cooking shima, then you must do it. What are you doing? You are seeing it, you are feeling it, and you are doing what? Saying it. By saying it, you are releasing it. What you don't like, you don't say it. What you want, don't say I'm thinking it. Say it. And say it with faith, with feelings. When you believe something, your feelings go with it. And keep saying it until you see it. And don't say it like you're going to have it. Say it like you already have it. Calling those things that be not as though they were. In the present tense. Present continuous tense. What are you doing? And God said, let there be light. What is God doing? He's creating. Where is he doing that? In the spirit. What happened? John chapter 1 verse 14. What happened? John chapter 1 verse 14. And the word became. So every time you keep speaking it, what happens? It's going to take form and shape. And the word became flesh. And the word became flesh. By speaking, it says by words you frame. So you use the word to frame. Frame is like a wall fence, isn't it? You lock yourself into a space. So you have to start doing that today. You have to start speaking. That's how creation comes. That's why we say you have to create it in the spirit first. By speaking it in the spirit, very soon what you've released will become flesh. And it will be physical, dwells amongst us, and we beheld his glory. It's not going to happen. Where did God release that? Genesis 3, verse 15. I put enmity between you and the woman, between her seed and your seed. He will bruise your head, you will bruise his heel. God released it. It was in God all along. Then God released it with words. It couldn't, nothing will change it. It's going to happen. You see that? So go to Psalm 89. Verse 34.
Not violate my covenant.
My covenant will I not break,
Or alter what my lips have.
nor alter, change what has come out of my mouth. I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie. So when God says it, it's done. And when you know that, then you know that you go out there with boldness and speak it. These laws can't change. My covenant I will not break, neither will I alter the things that have gone out of my mouth. Now when God has spoken concerning you, nobody can change it. The only person that can change it is you, because God gives you free will to do your own will or his will. My covenant will I not break, neither will I alter. You must come to the place that whatever you are facing, you may think things are going like this and going like that. Don't change your confessions. Take there. A double-minded person is unstable. They will not receive anything from God. So you cannot go about, keep changing. Today you feel this, you change. Today you feel that, you change. Today you feel this, you change. Today you feel that, you change. You keep changing every day. It's not going to happen. You are confusing yourself, confusing creation. So at the end of the day, your subconscious, everybody will wait for you and say, when you are serious, when you know what you want, you can talk to us. The whole world is assigned to give you what you say. You saw that God spoke to the water, it brought things out. It spoke to the atmosphere, it brought things out. It spoke to the earth, it brought things out. It spoke to God, to himself, it brought things out. And people start introducing you to places you will never on your own enter. But because you showed your dexterity and skill, they will start calling you in places. If they are not calling you now, it's because you have nothing to offer. It's not a devil against you. The gift God gives you becomes a responsibility. You become a steward. A gift without character is a proud person going to kill themselves. Until you get over your ego, you won't become your best.